Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. So we're going to start diving into, does God exist? Evidence for God's existence. I love this stuff because, it absolutely blows my mind how much evidence there really is for God's existence. Now, I wrestled with this as a teenager. Does God really exist? I remember being 18 years old. I had grown up a Catholic and I was totally 50-50. I was on the fence about this God question. Does God really exist or not? And I thought, there probably really isn't, much good evidence or proof out there for God's existence. We can never really know, whether God exists or not. That's just a matter of opinion. Okay, what people believe in terms of their faith and stuff. I was wrong. Okay, I was just absolutely dead wrong. What I've continued to dig into throughout college, as I learned more information, then I started to dig more. And as I've taught Catholic apologetics class, where I walk my students through evidence for our faith in God, why believe in God, evidence for our faith in Christianity and Jesus Christ, evidence for Catholicism, which has now also become a 3-part parish mission that I offer. Okay, all of the evidence for this is absolutely mind-blowing. If you'd like some more information, click the link below for Digmann.com, so you can come to my author speaker website and see what I have to offer in terms of evidence for God's existence. Now, here's what I'm going to commit to for you, our Passionately Catholic viewers. And if you like this idea, like this video, if you haven't subscribed to Passionately Catholic yet, be sure to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss anything that we have coming out in the future. Here's what I'm committing to for you, okay, especially for our subscribers, right, is I'm going to put together a series, okay, of some shorter videos like this, where I'm going to go through the evidence for God's existence, what I've uncovered, things that have convinced me. And I'm not going to deal with it in a big philosophical, theological kind of way that's difficult to understand. I'm going to try to make it as simple as I possibly can, just like I do and go through for my students, my high school seniors, as well as for people who attend my parish missions and talks on the evidence for God and Christianity and Catholicism. So we're on this question of does God exist? Okay, now as our first video in this series, we've got to wrestle with this just a little bit, that deep down, we are made for God. Okay, we are made for God because we desire perfect goodness and perfect truth and perfect beauty and perfect love and perfect health and eternal life. And when we don't get that, something deep inside of us revolts against it and says, no, this is not the way it's meant to be. When somebody gets sick or dies, we say, no, that's not right. Somebody gets cancer, we get cancer. We're like, no, that's not right. Something's wrong about this. If somebody lies to us or cheats us or we see something ugly or something awful, we say, no, that's wrong. Okay, that is not right. It's not supposed to be that way. And it's not just our preference. It's deep down, we know that that's not what we're made for, that we're made for something else. We deep down at our core, we know that we're made for God, we're made for heaven, we're made for eternal life because we feel that calling, we feel drawn to that. All of us do, okay? So I submit to you that we know at our core. So let's take a look at some of the evidence over the next while in terms of this piece. And what does the Catechism say about this? Okay, paragraphs 27 and 28 talk about how all human beings are made for God, that at the core of our being, in section 28, paragraph 28 says that at the core of our being, we are a religious being, okay? Humans are gonna worship something. You know this, I know this. We are built to worship something. Okay, we're built to worship God ultimately. Okay, period. But what we do is when we don't put God number one in our life is we tend to worship all kinds of other things. We worship money, okay, or fame, or sex, or pleasures, or alcohol, or drinking, drugs, smoking, whatever it is. There's all these addictive things out there. Excitement, okay, TV even, okay, with sports. We are built, my friend, we are built to worship. Okay, we're built to worship. And the question is what are you and I going to choose to worship? What are we going to give ourselves to? Are we going to give ourselves to a sport? Are we going to give ourselves to a career? Are we going to give ourselves over to materialism or to be famous or to the pleasures of the world? Or are we going to become what we're meant to become? Are we going to become saints? Are we going to grow closer to God? Okay, that's a huge question. Now, St. Augustine had this to say. Okay, I love this prayer. St. Augustine says, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." Our heart is restless until it rests in you, because God's made us for himself. Now we experience this in terms of the world as this restlessness of our heart. Why? Because we're not focused on what we need to be focused on. We must be focused on God. Now, if you're a doubter, if you're a skeptic, okay, and I totally am. I'm a totally natural skeptic, and I tell my students, my seniors in high school, when I go over this information with them, evidence for God's existence with them, that I'm a total skeptic. Ask any question you want. Let's play with it. Okay, if you have questions, like throw them in the comments below this video. Right? Let's help each other out. Let's dig into this deeper. So I will totally admit that I'm an absolute skeptic, and I need evidence for what I'm going to believe. Okay, but the next question that we might kind of wrestle with is, can we 100% prove that God exists or not? Okay, how much error or wiggle room is there on this subject? And that, my friend, is going to be the topic of our next video, so stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, and a special thank you goes out, as always, to our patrons who make everything we do here at Passionately Catholic possible. May God bless you, and I'll be in touch again very soon.